Okay, sorry for that delay. I am back, and as you can see, the video is working. Yay! So, let me do a quick tweet. Streaming is fixed, and we are live with Silver Lining Chapter 2. Get rid of Skype so that I hopefully don't crash like last time. Okay, and let's do something here too. Let Facebook know that we are live. Streaming the Silver Lining Chapter 2. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 2, finally. Hopefully some more people join us. So here we are. Alright. Episode 2, Two Households. After surviving an unnatural storm, a new day dawns for the King of Daventry, and he begins the search for the ingredients needed for the spell to cure his children. Adventure abounds and takes a turn for the bizarre as Graham visits the wacky lands of the Isle of Wonder and meets its eccentric inhabitants. Meanwhile, back in the Castle of the Crown, the secrets of two mysterious societies are revealed. Let's begin. As always, feel free to ask questions or comments, whatnot, as I go. Glad to talk about the game. Hello, Hatnix. Welcome. Loading. It has been a long time since I played Chapter 2, so it is quite likely there will be parts where I'm stopping to wonder how to do whatever it is the puzzle is before us. So Roselle and Edgar got married, or mostly got married, and then Rosella and Alexander put under an evil spell.
He shall be waiting. Your children are under a dark spell. The only way to revert such a spell is by reaching their mind.
Your mind.
It is an ancient druid spell that will grant you entrance into their dreams.
How convenient.
Bring the ingredients of the spell to me. I can create it for you. The archdruid has sent for you. He said this is not a natural storm!
They said that only after 1,000 years will the last chance be granted. One final choice would be made that would fill the fields with light or darken them with shadows.
And we also had, of course, our Doomsayer / the Mysterious Ranger. I believe we'll get to know a little more about him in this episode. Sorry. little chilling here, so it's sweatshirt time. And now, back to the Isle of the Mists. Game sound. Yes. Raise it up a bit. Let me know how that is. The Archdruid is kind of a quiet talker, so.
They have been here since before our time, and will remain ever after.
I wish I too could be enlightened by their wisdom.
Much of what they would teach you, you may already know.
Yet I don't have all the answers, especially the ones I'm seeking.
And what is it that you seek?
I
Crown.
haven't managed to find a way to stop evil from reaching my family.
You surely understand we cannot live in a world without evil. All things must exist.
Cat wears the crown, not the man.
Such perfection makes some innocents suffer.
Still the ladder? Okay.
It does us no good to question Mother Nature and her actions. We cannot change those.
Try
We can
raising
only
that a little
accept
more.
them. Had you not faced the evils you have, you may feel differently. You're a good and strong king because you have seen the face of evil.
There are simpler paths to becoming a good king.
Yeah.
The simpler paths may look that way in the beginning, but the path you have chosen left you better prepared for what you now face. You should not have any regret for your choices.
Still a bit more? Okay. There are a couple of scenes to kind of get us on our way here, a lot of information dumping for gameplay and whatnot. So hopefully soon we'll actually
be
begin
back
playing
soon.
with the game.
Keep your senses alert. This weather was not caused by Mother Nature.
I will. Goodbye for now.
Ready to sail? Alright. Sailing into the sunrise. Episode 2. Two Households. The episode 2 and 2 being in the name is very coincidental. There is not a numeric theme in the names. Oh good, okay. Yeah. God, the sound is better. Okay,
The
here's a
Archdruid
lot of
told me
info
that
on
the
how we
scroll is
play
enchanted
now.
with the wisdom of Mother Nature and will guide me through my journey. I should heed its directions. The scroll is enchanted to let me know what ingredients are currently available. It looks like only these 3 are available right now. I have obtained an ingredient. It will be crossed off the list. The magic of the scroll will direct me to the islands on the map where I can find the currently displayed ingredients. I'll keep it in my pocket until I need it again.
But wait, there's more!
Finally, the Archdruid told me that the scroll has the ability to point me towards people or events that will also aid me on my quest. Speaking of which, isn't that Shamir the genie?
So shall we go to see Shamir, or go to another island to pursue an ingredient first?
A magical bag, an animated vessel,
Ah.
a lethal liquid.
Yeah, the setup on the magic scroll and all its additional abilities, other than just telling you what you needed, that got added in. Oops, sorry, I just knocked this over as I'm adjusting my chair. That stuff all got added in when we decided to take the first. See the game as the first third. You know, when the game was 9 chapters, got reduced to the first 3, and then split into 5 episodes. This was part of, okay, how do we split things across the 5 episodes, you know, and keep it kind of even and kind of contain each one. It's like, alright, we basically decided, you know, in each episode you'll add in a new island that you can go to, and you'll get a specific list of ingredients that can go there. And we had a lot of information we also had to convey, which, as you will see, is mostly comes through Shamir, but it makes sense since he is a genie and he has the ability to kind of jump around and go places, find information without having to turn it into a whole longer part of Graham's quest. Alright, let's get rid of this. Speaking of, we've been to the Isle of Crown a while. Let's check out the Isle of Wonder. Alright. Well, what do you know about the Isle of Wonder?
Any words of advice on traveling the Isle of Wonders? I've heard it's very far from normal.
It's a funny place, aye. Be careful not to anger the chessboard queens, or you may end up in their guillotine.
Yep.
I narrowly avoided it myself once, and thanks to that, I can't go any further than this dock on the island itself.
My goodness. What did you do?
Well, let's just say I had 2 gold earrings, sire, and I'm not likely to get the second one back anytime soon.
I see.
Magic bag.
The Archdruid told me to look for a magic bag that was lost in the sea. Do you have any ideas where I could find this?
I may know these waters like the palm of my hand, but its depths, that's another question. It'd be like finding a needle in
Man,
a
those
haystack
clams
to
are
catch my
kind of
breath.
rude. Yawning
Maybe
away.
if you had a better reference, I'd recommend asking Ali, the bookshop owner. That man knows about everything that goes on in these lands.
I'll follow your advice.
You're not ready to sail.
Come back when you're ready to sail.
Ready to sail? Alright, let's take a
The
peek.
large oysters patiently sleep in the warm sun.
Aw, oyster
beds.
beds.
How clever.
Aye, sire, most oyster beds are cute, but these oysters are far from cute. They're far from normal.
There will be a fun playoff of the oysters in Chapter 5. Which I believe. You know what? I'm gonna also make a quick game save here. Step 2, Isle of Wonder. Huh. Alright, let's see if we can talk to these
I do
oysters.
not wish to wake them up.
No, okay. Well, do it anyway.
Why? They look so cute when they're...
If I remember right, if you try to pick up the water, there's a funny thing that happens here. There's a bit of an Easter egg.
Sorry, Graham, you haven't mastered the art of carrying liquid in your hands yet. Although, this being the Isle of Wonders, and all, it would be awesome if you could carry it without needing a container. Okay, hear me out. The water would just stand there, or walk and run around, or even jump into Graham's pocket, and it wouldn't even
Yes, my
get
saves
wet.
did get sorted
How
out.
awesome would that be?
For anyone having the same issue of not being able to make
Fine.
saves,
Don't listen. I'm just
you
the
can
narrator having
solve it by
strange
doing run
ideas.
as
Maybe
administrator
I should
when you
become
play
a
it.
game designer. I hate my job. And the game designers are stupid.
Hey!
They don't think of awesome things like I do.
What was that, Amy?
Yeah, what did you say?
Oh, nothing. I love you guys.
Hey, guys. Can we get back to the game?
Stop whining already, or I'll quit. And then you'll be stuck in a game without narrations. Think you can get by without me? I doubt it. I should get a raise, you know.
This is a volunteer project?
Whatever. Do you have any idea how my voice has suffered from all this work you're giving me?
This is also where we poked
What
fun
do
at the
you think
fact.
of talking in iambic pentameter? I was thinking of writing a game entirely in verse.
Hello? Did anyone even hear me? I'm the one who's gonna quit if you don't stop this already.
We'll give you a raise, Amy. You deserve it.
I know. Have you guys heard my last album, by the way?
Yeah, and it rules. You should be famous.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you think I could be the star of your next game?
Sure, we can give you a body instead of just being a voice in Graham's head.
Well, start by starring in this one. Because I'm done with all of you. You've been toying with me for the last 5 years or so, making me ugly,
More like
touching me, making
10.
me move into positions that are just inhumanly possible. Giving me more than 1,000 lines, then it's all walk here and walk way over there, and then make jokes about me when you think I'm not looking. And no one ever even suggested paying me.
But you're the king. Kings don't get paid.
You know what? I'm leaving. And good luck trying to contact my agent. I'm off to spring break in Cancun. Forget this whole Daventry Green Isles business. I'm stepping out into the real world. Adios.
Now what?
I know. Let's bring in ninjas.
And bonsai trees.
Yes. Now we can call this the Silver Ninja Bonsai Tree.
Yes! Or, even better, I could be the star. The Silver Narrator.
And that's our first death.
Over my dead
Essentially,
body.
death by narration. Whoop, just kidding.
Can we get back to the game now, for real? Good.
So, oh wait, there is something else over here, isn't there? I think. No? Okay. Big, huge beach.
If it wasn't for the funny-looking... However, having heard Alexander's stories, he knows strange events await him. If it wasn't for the funny-looking oysters...
Yeah, it is a pretty long joke, which is kind of a joke because we know that our narrations tended to go on for quite a while. There's a reason there is a short narrations option. So we just kind of went all in and went, yep, there'll be a death by narration in this game. Which we kind of backed out of course, if I haven't even come back. We recorded all those lines once when a lot of us were up in Rich's place in Canada, in Montreal, at one point. One of our fun little weekends, long weekends
Graham
of
has
working
no
together in
desire to get
person.
mixed in a conversation with...
Alright, let's take a look. We got
Valenice loves growing tomatoes when she's not taking care of her roses back in Daventry. Maybe Graham could take the seeds of one of these, and his wife would have someone to talk to while growing her plants. On the other hand, Valenice seems to enjoy having that time to spend on her own in the gardens. Graham's always thought it must be awfully lonely personally.
A crying cabbage. Graham actually prefers his coleslaw quiet.
good call, Graham.
The green vines look fragile, but they cling to the wall with fierce determination.
What's that behind them?
And some grapes.
Those grapes look sour. This reminds Graham of that time when Alexander was overwhelmingly irritated at Rosella because she dragged Edgar along with her to get some grapes from a distant forest in Daventry that she had heard were delicious. They got lost in the forest, and when they were still missing after nightfall, Alexander took some of the guards to find them. The two were found huddled together and almost freezing in the woods. When Cosima asked Rosella if the grapes were as delicious as she'd hoped and worth all the trouble, Rosella made a face and said, no, they were sour. Everyone laughed, even Valenice, who'd been quite worried at the time. Nowadays, Alexander likes to tell that story
I
to
think
embarrass
this
both his
narration
sister
was when
and
I
her
first
fiancé,
got on
Louise
Cesar's
Glycine,
case
although
about
Rosella and Edgar
things
both
going
say
on a
no.
little too long. And he insisted on keeping it, and Somewhere else, there's a narration where I actually, when editing, just kind of cut it off as blah 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 at the end, trailing off. Oh,
What
hello.
in the name of Daventry is this?
Ah, the beloved Magnet. Isn't he a cute little fellow?
It's not nice to stare.
Oh,
Sorry?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
These snapping draconic flowers look very fierce. Now, why in the world would there be a chair in the middle of nowhere? Who designed this? Oh, Roberta? Oh, well, I mean, of course. What a genius. This is just what this place needed. A chair. So visitors don't get tired and, you know... Oh, crap. We love you, Roberta. This vine, growing far away from the others, looks like it's a different kind of plant altogether.
The poor thing looks dead.
Indeed.
The
And of
speckled
course.
gates are locked tight against intruders.
Rats. It's locked.
Oh wait, one
True
more
to
thing to
its
look
name,
at.
the iceberg lettuce is frigid to the touch. This would give the dish cold salad a very literal meaning.
Indeed. Can I take these?
Ooh. Too cold.
How about this guy? Ah!
What in... Let me go.
So that's a bit of a hint. I can try to take this key, and it doesn't work.
Nice of you to come see us.
Uh-oh.
I can't breathe. Please let go
No.
of me.
Oh no! Actual dead king.
I want to love him and squeeze him and call him George.
Retry. So let's go back to before our fatal mistake. Okay, good. So we can use this. And this guy.
Good idea. Now, where do you want to lead him to?
I want to get this key.
Great idea, but right now the vines are in the way.
Okay. So we're gonna have to get out of here. And head back, I believe, to Isle of the Crown, which does have some new areas opened up in it now, so that will be fun. Run.
Ready to sail?
Oh yeah. Ready to sail? You'll be hearing that a lot. Yes. Off to the Isle of the Crown, which does have, as I said, some new areas and new people that we can talk to. And I believe it might be in this one that we get the beginnings of a whole series of exchange this item for that thing, for this item for
Hello
that
there,
thing.
lad. Have you had any luck catching fish today?
Nah, fish have all gone into hiding because of that storm last night. Mom was really scared. I've been trying to catch something for lunch, but there's no bites. I'm getting hungry.
Alright, let's see if Hassan has anything to tell us about.
Good day indeed. After that thing that looked like the start of the apocalypse last night, any day seems like a good day. Ready to sail?
No.
You have a pretty island here. The view
Let's
is
find out about the
incredible.
Isle of the Crown.
What can any man say about the place he was born? I'm glad to live and breathe on this isle, as hard as times may be sometimes. It's less crazy than the Isle of Wonder.
More civilized than the Isle of the Beasts. More
No.
down to earth
Haha.
than the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. And certainly more solid than the newly discovered Isle of Mist and any other rocks that might be hiding out there near the boundaries of the world. This little place is the best spot for anyone to live, native to the archipelago, or otherwise.
Home is always the most beautiful place, Captain.
It was even the safest spot to be during those hard times we were having shortly before King Alexander arrived. He was darned lucky to have washed up on this very isle all right.
That's
The
true.
works of destiny, my friend. The works of destiny.
What
Ah.
might have happened to him otherwise?
Plot device, Mr. Frodo.
Alhazard might
Plot
have found
device.
out and snuffed him out like a candle. The twisted toad. 15 years with that scheming warthog inside the castle walls. Why didn't someone realize the truth sooner?
Indeed.
Sometimes we have to realize what we are about to lose in order to know how precious it is to us.
Yes, and I'm more grateful to your son than I can express in words, Graham. We all are.
Not so grateful that I'm not going to insist on charging you for these services, however. Let's find out about the village.
You must know all about the village. I mean, being born here and all.
You betcha. It's not that big, but we've got everything a village needs. A baker, a weaver, a metal worker, a doomsayer.
What?
Just pulling your leg. We do have our share of eccentrics, which we tolerate all the time. Well, most of the time anyway. But this being the best as well as the safest isle, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose.
Where do most of the people live?
Mostly on the outskirts. Not many of them live in the actual village, unless they enjoy being kept up by late-night festivals, and being woken up by peddlers bellowing out what they're selling before the sun's fully up in the morning.
Seems like a fun place to live in.
Ah, yes. Best place in the world, Graham. Best place in the world.
I've encountered many sailors.
Tell us
during my
about being a
adventures.
sailor.
I always wondered what it's like to live in the sea. Being
Ah,
a
okay.
person myself.
Thank you
There's
for
nothing
joining
like
us,
working on
Hatnix.
what you love.
Enjoy your dinner.
Feeling the air in your face.
We'll
and
be
sail
back up
across
sometime
new
next week
areas.
with wherever
It's
we
an
leave off here.
amazing experience, Graham.
Did you always want to be a sailor?
All of my life. It runs in the family. My father trained me on how to sail this ferry, as did his father before him, and so on. I've yet to make enough money to support a family, since I've been out of the business for so long.
Missed opportunity for a side quest. Find Hassan a lady friend.
I've got enough life ahead of me.
I wish I could say the same for my son.
What?
My son, your king. He was kidnapped from us when he was only a few months old and became a slave to an evil sorcerer. He returned to us a short time before his 18th birthday. We've only really known him for a few years, and that's hardly enough time to teach a prince how to rule a kingdom.
The things you learn. I wouldn't worry about him, though. He has good instincts. He asks the right questions, he gets the right answers. He was able to find a way off this island and navigate his way through all the others.
True.
He's done
Resourceful,
what no
Ben.
other princes I've known, even though I've known next to none, have been able to do. Bring the former king and queen back from the dead, uncover the evil plot of a seemingly innocent man, gain possession of a genie, and if you say he survived slavery under an evil sorcerer, then there's no doubt he's a smart fella. He's got the basics down. And I'm sure that his wife can help him in any area where he needs it.
Still, as a father, I just can't stop worrying.
Just like my own father. What's funny is that I never really learned until I went out there by myself. When you don't have someone to call to, and the storm is at your bow, you always find a way to manage, though.
I can relate. My story's not too different from yours.
Let's hear about Cosima.
I'm grateful my son met Cosima. She's a very brave woman.
Yes, sir. That's what I always say. Don't let yourself be fooled by her delicate look. The girl has a brave soul.
She does.
I sensed that in her when I first met her in Mordok's castle back when the wizard had enslaved her. She saved my life.
Did she? So she didn't only help the king bring the vizier down, but she also helped you.
She's full of surprises.
Even as a little girl, I could tell that Cosima was going to be a fine ruler when she grew up. She loved the town and the townspeople. She would often go down to the bookstore to read Ali's latest arrivals. And of course...
She rode your ferry.
Who's telling this story?
Go on, I'll be quiet.
Anyway...
Stop stepping on my
like
lines,
you
man.
said, she loved to ride the ferry from isle to isle. That was until that dog Alhazred's activities made the Isle so dangerous that I had to stop ferrying passengers entirely. Cosima was so sad. She was almost a teenager then. Still, that didn't stop her from visiting the village whenever she could. The way she talked, you'd think she was one of the regular townspeople. And when she grew up and started spending more time at the castle, being trained to be a queen, it was heartbreaking for some of us.
Oh.
It was like losing a favorite.
When Alexander was taken, the kingdom fell into sorrow as well. I can't believe it's all happening again.
Calm down, sire. Calm down.
He's getting upset.
It's a clear day to follow every stormy night.
Alright. That's enough.
Thank you
Jibber
for
jabbing.
talking with me.
Talking with you? That wasn't talking. I could go on for half an hour and still consider a conversation a chat. This was just a casual exchange of words. You come to me at night when you've got plenty of spare time to kill. I'll show you some real talking.
No thanks. Like they say, silence is golden.
Whatever you say, Graham. Come back when you're ready to sail.
Ready to sail. Alright. To the village! We got about 10 minutes left here, so I'm going to do some exploring in the village. A little less. We've got a lot of conversations coming up ahead of us here. But let's do some exploration instead. Take a look around the place, see what we got. We're going to take a look specifically at the new areas of the village, because we played King's Quest VI, you know about the pawn shop and the bookstore. But over here, we have a whole little towns area with shops and shopkeepers and whatnot.
A couple of days ago, the royal family had dinner at this restaurant at Cosima's insistence. It was a different night from those at the castle among luxury, servants, and endless varieties of food, but the privacy of the night, accompanied by the candlelight, the friendly bards, and the exquisite wines, made of it something to remember. Graham, unfortunate.
So we got a nice restaurant, which you don't really go to. It's that one. Got a blacksmith over here in the corner. Four Winds.
The sign displays the name proudly. A spider's web decorates most of the left section of the counter. It appears to be occupied. A large black spider is clinging to the web. For some reason, Graham is certain it's a she. And the way she's moving her leg, is she giving him the come hither? This is the main counter, where contributors submit material for the newsletter. The business is open for visitors, although the host seems a little vicious.
The Four Winds, complete with articles on display, which are, in fact, plot important. So, checkmate. Grand opening of chessboard land cancelled mid-ceremony. By Kurt Rayner. So we had a series. There was also a sort of just for fans only storyline going through the Four Winds that we kind of just did at the website only that doesn't show up in the game here. But here we go, checkmate. Grand opening of chessboard land cancelled mid-ceremony. At the ceremony celebrating the official opening of the Isle of Wonders chessboard land to the public, a bitter quarrel between the Red and White Queens led to the disruption of the ceremony and the immediately reclosing of chessboard land. At first, all seemed well at the ceremony. All of the citizens of the Isle of Wonder were present, save for those of the Foliage family who were too firmly rooted in the ground to move, as well as representatives from the other islands. A red and white ribbon stretched between the marble posts at the entrance to chessboard land, waiting to be cut to signify the opening. The age-old rivalry of the two queens reared its ugly head only moments in. The Red Queen spoke first. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... No, that's how weddings are supposed to start. It's not the right speech, your sister the White Queen interrupted. Ahem, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, today is a day for great celebration in the land of the Green Isles. In the Isle of Wonder, indeed for all islands of the Green Isles. Today is the grand opening of chessboard land. From this day forward, all will be welcome in our red and white corner of the kingdom, the Red Queen continued. The White Queen spoke up again. You've had your moment in the spotlight, now it's my turn to make a speech, sister. And stop being put in red first. You know perfectly well that they will marvel at the beautiful color white before they notice the garish red you keep insisting we put everywhere. Loyal subjects of the land of the Green Isles, today you will finally be able to witness the extraordinary beauty of chessboard land firsthand. For a long time we were reluctant to allow humans to enter chessboard land, but permitting only chess pieces in our homeland. But King Alexander and Queen Cassima have persuaded us that sharing is in the spirit of the kingdom, and so we have opened our doors to the public. As I cut this ribbon, chessboard land will become open to the public. However, just as the Queen... there was a brief argument, I missed that part. However, just as the White Queen was about to cut the ribbon, the Red Queen jumped up in protest. I am as much a queen of this island as you are, and I demand to be one to cut the ribbon. Back up. How typically selfish as always. Not only do you get the singing stone, you think you could cut the ribbon as well. Well, you're not getting these shears. The White Queen held the shears above her head, out of reach from the Red Queen. And you are just being childish as usual. Give me those shears. The enraged Red Queen lunged at her sister, trying to snatch away the shears, while the crowd looked on in shock. The White Knight backed up the White Queen in her effort to hide the shears, while the Red Knight came forward to help the Red Queen seize control over the shears. In the tussle that ensued, the shears were thrown in the air, and the crowd tried to shield themselves from them as they fell. One winged one was not as quite lucky as the rest of the crowd, getting nicked on one of his wings and losing a few flight feathers to the sharp edges, as seen in the picture here. I never imagined that royalty could behave so gracefully. The representative from the Isle of the Crown, sent by King Alexander, tried to stop the fighting, but things only got worse as each queen tried to get him to take her side. The White Queen was knocked down by the Red Queen at one point, but after she regained her balance, the White Queen threw the red and white cake, baked in honor of the opening, in the Red Queen's face. Both queens called in the pawns and the other chessboard pieces, who jumped to the attention, and were soon herding the crowd away from the bridge and out the gates, which were locked up tight behind them. Chessboard land was reclosed before it had even opened. I spoke with some of the guests, and all of them were shocked at the Red and White Queen's behavior. I never imagined that royalty could behave so disgracefully. I am fortunate to be able to fly again after being hit by those blasted shears. This revolting display is further proof that the other islands have not reached the fine pinnacle of civilization that we maintain on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, said the winged one visitor who had been injured. This will certainly teach me to come down from my home ever again. This is most disappointing, said the representative of the Isle of the Crown. Alexander and Cassima had high hopes that a new era of open borders and cooperation could begin with their reign, but apparently the Red and White Queen aren't willing to cooperate, at least not with each other. I was looking forward to seeing chessboard land for the first time, but it seems it will be a long time before the queens are willing to let the public in. If they ever stop fighting, that is, Prince Cocteau from the Isle of Beasts said to us. This dispute is nothing new for the queens, who have fought since the day they were born. One must wonder if sibling rivalry is taken too far in the Isle of Wonder. Rarely have the queens come to blows, and one can only hope the sisters will reconcile their differences and revisit the grand opening of chessboard land to the public. We then have some zodiac horoscopes here, which will be important later. And I think that's all. We can talk with the, talk with Black Widow here.
Ah, hello, Miss Widow, is it?
Call me Blackie, sugar pie. How may I help you? There is very little that I can't do for you.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, ma'am, but I know about your reputation. My son Warren told me about you. And besides that, I'm married and have been for more than 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, curses! I mean, that doesn't mean we can't have a cozy little conversation, does it? I don't see your wife anywhere around here. Besides, 20 years of being chained to your spouse deserves some kind of reward, doesn't it?
Sorry, I'm quite content with Valanice.
Well, let me know if you have a change of heart, all right? I'll be waiting.
Awkward.
Any good news today?
Well, good news just walked in the door in the form of you, stranger. But otherwise, nothing particularly cheerful, I'm afraid. That luscious Alexander and that succulent, pretty little sister of his, I mean, are still asleep. So the news birds say, and
I guess we decided Black Widow swings both ways.
I know that.
But things may be looking up for me, at least, since you've shown up.
I don't want to get tangled up in any of your schemes, Miss Widow.
Blackie, sugar pie. Blackie.
Have you heard any news about what caused yesterday's calamity?
Indeed. The stranger has been seen in various places, always wearing that sexy black cloak of his.
Do you know what he's been doing?
The man has a fixation with a certain artifact. Pandora's box.
Do you know where this man can be found?
My, aren't we full of questions? Maybe you and I could go around in a lovely walk, and I could devour and relate you the story of the mysterious man.
Thank you for the kindness, but I'm in a hurry.
The most interesting meals. Men, I mean, are always rushing everything. But no, my dear, nobody knows about the strange man's whereabouts. My sisters are working hard at it, but it just seems he totally vanishes after making his appearance. Quite a hard fish to eat.
And as you can see in the background, we have the caterpillar, bookworm, yes, and the dangling participle from King's Quest VI as well.
Aside from the wedding events, is there anything else?
There have been reports of strange occurrences, not only from local reporters, but birds from other nearby lands, Serenia mostly, and some from very far away, Daventry even.
What sorts of reports?
Oh, you are a clever rhyme master. But, since you asked, in some of the forests of Serenia, the locals have observed that some of the trees that have lost their leaves are starting to regain them, and the leaves are beginning to phase from brown to green.
Goodness.
And here, there have been many more strange occurrences, even here, among the members of the newsletter staff. Some notes that the scribes write start to fade if they are left alone for very long. It's getting harder and harder to get anything done around here.
Strange.
Indeed. Cause of strange events?
Have you had any reports on the cause of these strange occurrences?
It's all a mystery. Maybe you could decipher it with my help. If you'd only let me nibble.
I just want to be a queen.
Whisper it in your ear, of course.
Don't make me wait for tomorrow's edition of the newspaper.
These victims, men, I mean, of today have lost their sense of humor.
Maybe because you've eaten them all. Overwhelmed them all, I mean.
Very funny, sugar pie. No. Nobody knows the cause of these events. Some diced people, wise people, I mean, from the city of Stratos, have gathered in secret meetings, but we still
Stratos is the city of time.
City of Stratos?
You need to get out there, sweet me.
That Rosella would have visited in her chapter. Which is chapter 6? 6, yeah. Originally. Oh. And here we have the line that basically got Jason Victor the role of Gabriel Knight for the remake.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Oh my.
This is not New Orleans, and you are not a certain womanizer failure as a writer, loser to be shadow hunter kind of werewolf graces gone bad, hair act, broke dude, now owns a castle, Mr. Knight, Graham. Which reminds me, where is Gabriel Knight for?
A question we're all still asking.
I'd better be leaving.
All right.
Yes, hello.
But promise me you'll be back. Tall, handsome, and tasty.
Okay.
Maybe.
So let's take a little lap around the place. So we've got the lamp cellars over here. There's a map cellar, a candy cellar.
Is your loved one feeling down? Then buy her one of our candy clouds. Chocolate mistletoe.
Ah, refreshing.
Can we drink the water?
Ah.
Oh, okay, it's the same for all. Let's give a little info on the Four Winds. So yes, the Four Winds was our newsletter that we had long before we actually had the game come out, which was sort of a way to keep people invested and give a little bit of information about the stories and things that would be happening in the game ahead of time. So the opening of the chessboard land and then the subsequent reclosing of it, for example, was one of them, which is why there's a big lock on that door when you go there. And some other details that are in that story are relevant later on. The horoscopes, and I think the newspaper pages that are put up here change in each episode, if I remember correctly, to be kind of one about each of the islands. And even if they don't, there were a whole lot more that are not in the game itself that we had on our website, which are still on there. I think one of the old direct links doesn't work anymore, which, but there are a lot of them still up there, many issues that we had to kind of fill in the gaps while people were waiting for new episodes and such. So, it has been an hour, so I'm going to call it here. We have a lot of episode 2 still left to go, and sometime next week, the Crown Market. Sometime next week I'll be streaming again to continue the journey. We'll probably do some more tooling around in here at that point, and maybe finally go talk to Shamir and Kasima up in the Castle of the Crown. So, thank you everybody who tuned in, and please come back